Welcome to the Vanilla to Vixen podcast. This show contains adult content, so if you are under 18 or easily offended, please switch off now. Mr. and Mrs. N are not qualified relationship counsellors. This show is for entertainment purposes only. Now the disclaimer is out of the way. Sit back, relax, and enjoy our journey from Vanilla to Vixen.
Welcome to episode 97 of Vanilla to Vixen. We are your hosts, Mr. and Mrs. N, and we're also known as...
The Naughty Couple.
We are indeed.
Hello, Mr. N.
Welcome everybody. Hello, Mrs. N.
Are you all right?
On this fabulous week when apparently crisps are getting hotter and hotter.
Right.
It's not just the swinging lifestyle.
Okay.
It's getting hotter and hotter. Apparently this week, the crisps are getting hotter and hotter, according to the press, with katsu curry flavoured crisps becoming some of the hottest crisps now available.
Oh, okay.
Which, that reminds
They're
me...
Japanese.
I know, katsu curry crisps are done by Cardo, apparently.
Oh, okay.
Proper crisps. And even McCoy's, I want to try. I can't try. The trouble is, I can't have chili.
I know.
So I can't have a lot of these crisps. McCoy's have brought out chip shop curry flavoured crisps.
Okay.
Try saying that with him when you had a few. Yes. It actually reminds me of a story, actually.
Does it now?
It does. How is a push-up bra like a bag of crisps?
I don't know.
As soon as you open it, you realise it's half empty.
All the women are going to go, how
Mr.
dare he?
I know.
How dare he?
I know, that's it now.
We've been busy, haven't we?
Wow. So last week we had the absolutely amazing couple, Ray and Phoenix, on.
We did.
And because the show was so action-packed, full of our guests, and it was an amazing show last week. I really enjoyed it. And because of that, we kind of missed off the amazing event, brand new event called Kuriosity at Liberty Elite.
I know.
It was an extra long one.
It was an extra long one.
It was 2:00 right up until 10 p.m. Kuriosity is an event. Liberty Elite already has an LGBTQ plus event called Libertine.
Yes.
Which is just a fabulous event on a Wednesday evening. But Chardonnay, bless her, said, we need another event. And this one's called Kuriosity. And it's on a Sunday afternoon, normally from 2:00 to 8:00.
Yes.
And it's literally for the curious. It's like a by night, by afternoon. And you could just come along if you're curious. If you're a couple where just one of you is curious, then you could just come along. Whereas with Libertine, if you're a couple and you're on Fab Swingers, both of you have to be sort of bi or, homosexual. Whereas with this event, just one of you can be just curious.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't matter.
There was lots of different dynamics of people that came on Sunday.
It was. I mean, we even had couples who were just straight couples.
Yeah, we did.
With friends who, so it's open to anyone.
Yeah.
And Mr. Horney said, perhaps it should be called the No Label event.
Which is a good point.
I think that makes a good subtitle to it.
It does.
Kuriosity, just the no label event.
Yes,
yeah, no
absolutely.
label event. It's just anybody who's curious, and it was just the best atmosphere ever.
It was such good fun. And you know what? We had so many people that attended And they all said the same thing of how relaxed it was.
Mm-hmm.
Such a relaxed atmosphere, and it was just such good fun. It was a lovely afternoon.
And I got to do the DJ mix.
And you did.
It was fabulous. 8 hours of non-stop. We got R&B, we got soul music, we got reggae in the afternoon. What could be better? So I've got R&B, reggae and soul. Oh, my favourite type of music.
It was a really, really good event, and looking forward to the next one.
It was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. So a huge thank you to Chardonnay who actually organised that.
Yeah.
And I can confirm that there will be another Kuriosity event in 6 weeks' time.
Ooh, okay, lovely.
So in 6 weeks' time, we're going to have another Kuriosity event on a Sunday afternoon.
Do we have the date yet, Mr. N, or is it to be confirmed?
It's to be confirmed because I've not got it in front of me.
Okay, that's fine. Well, as soon as we know what the date is, we'll let you guys know. But I can highly recommend. It was a great afternoon, and there's something naughty about being at a club on a Sunday afternoon. And
another Sunday afternoon event called Sin Day.
Yes.
Which is, so if you can't wait for Kuriosity, you've got Sin Day as well.
Yes, which is also on a Sunday.
I know. It'd be a bit crap if it was like on a Monday.
Well,
because then it wouldn't make any sense, would it? Sin Day on a Monday. I'm just getting very confused. You know, it doesn't take a lot these days.
No. Now, we have an amazing couple that are waiting patiently to talk to us. But just before we do, I just want to mention that tomorrow night is V2V.
I know.
It's summer solstice.
We've got a couple of couples that have cancelled. Unfortunately, for them, bless them. And so we've got literally just a couple of places left.
Yes.
2 places, to be exact.
So if you're listening to this podcast early enough and you think, actually, we're not doing anything tomorrow.
At the moment,
yes,
we've got 2 places. They might have gone by the time you hear this, but
it's always worth checking.
It's worth trying it, yes. And couples or single ladies.
Yeah.
And it's going to be groovy, baby.
It is going to be groovy, baby.
It is 1967, the Summer of Love.
Yeah.
Google it if you don't know what that is. It's where a mysterious force of 100,000 people just made their way to San Francisco with flowers in their hair and peace and love, man, and all that good stuff.
And if you want to come just to have a laugh at mine and Mr. N's outfits,
talk to yourself. I'm coming as one of my heroes.
I know you are. I know.
I've just got to get some of the outfit kind of like... I'll talk about that next week. I'm just going to get the outfit just perfect. Just sort my accessories out.
Get you your accessories.
I'll talk about that next week.
So, as usual, if you want to get in contact with us to see if there are any spaces left for V2V, how can they get in contact with us, Mr. N?
Easiest and quickest way at this late hour is to send us a message on Fab Swingers, which is Naughty Couple spelled NAUGHTYCP1. If you want to send us an email, it's Naughty Couple NAUGHTYCP1 @yahoo.com. They're really the only 2 ways at this stage.
Okay.
To get this quick because it's tomorrow night. So,
yes, perfect.
Send us a message as soon as you can.
Yes, awesome, great. Is that it then? Can we now talk to them? Because I'm very excited.
Oh, blimey! Here we go. We're going to meet today Mr. R and Mrs. K.
Yes.
Who, by their own definition, are a bit of a hot wife couple. Got a bit of a hot wife dynamic, and it's all about everything hot today.
Yes.
So let's talk to our hot wife couple. Okay, and joining us now is Mr. R and Mrs. K.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, how are you doing?
Hello, my lovelies. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Yeah, really good.
Very well. Excited to be speaking to you guys today.
Newcomers to the podcast.
Or as you like to call them, my new victims.
Not me. That's only off air. You're giving away all my secrets now. So, as newcomers, I believe today you're going to talk about your journey into the naughty hobby.
Yes.
So let's begin. How long have you two been together?
So, been together for coming up 18 years now.
Okay.
And married for 9 years. So we got together in 2006 and I was only 17. So,
childhood sweethearts.
yeah, we were.
That is so sweet.
At 17, was it a car? At 17, get a boyfriend with a car.
To be fair, he did have a nice car, yeah.
Good girl.
I had a Mark II Golf GTI.
Oh, that would be worth quite a few pennies today.
Yeah, if only I still had that car.
Oh, yes.
Oh, now you're talking.
It was the car that did it, I think.
Yeah.
Not my boyish good looks.
I don't believe it.
So how long were you together before you sort of even mentioned this monkey business? Was it sort of early on in the relationship, or was it much, much later?
Genuinely, probably in the last 12 months.
Oh, okay. So fairly recent.
Very, very recently. So I met Kay when she was 17, and she'd been a good girl, if you like. She hadn't had any monkey business. So I'd had a few dalliances, being a few years older than her, but it started playing on my mind maybe about a year ago. Effectively, her pleasure is where I get my pleasure, and I started to wonder whether it was fair of me to keep this gorgeous, sexy woman all to myself, or whether I should look to share her with gentlemen.
That in itself is a bit. I've had conversations with other ladies before, and very recently I decided to tell a little bit of my secret to some of my work friends.
At that time, I was like, "You did what?"
Yes, and obviously they don't know the full story, but
unless they listen to the podcast.
Well, yes, so they don't actually know about that or anything. But it was interesting that a lot of their questions were all around the, well, I don't understand why does Mr. N want to see you with another man? And it's quite a difficult thing to explain, because I remember right in the beginning, I was very conflicted with my emotions and my feelings, because part of me was, we were going through this the fantasy and then building it up, and it was we used to fantasize and talk about it. We used to get very, very horny talking about it, but then when it kind of turned into reality, I was having a fight with myself, thinking I shouldn't be okay with this. Surely I should be upset or hurt that he wants me to be with another man. Am I not enough for him? Does he not want me that way anymore? How did you approach it with Kay?
So I'm quite a impulsive gentleman. So I knew this would be huge, and it is one of those things where if you, once you've said it, you can't unsay it, and once you've done it, it could go one of two ways. And
once you've opened Pandora's box,
yeah, and we've built this amazing life together. We've got a young family, and we are so in love, and everything was just ticking along perfectly. Our sex life has always been amazing. We're very adventurous, and I started having these thoughts. But it was probably, I tested myself. So I asked myself, if I wake up and ask myself the question, do you still feel this way, for a month, then that it's real. It's not impulsive. You've taken the time to consider whether it is actually something that you would like to approach and explore. And it was at that point that I had that conversation with Kay. which didn't go down too well. I don't know if you want to.
I was like, no, absolutely not. Like, what are you on about? I couldn't imagine doing that. And then at first I was a bit like, oh, is it because you want to sleep with someone else as well? And he was like, honestly, no, it is just me wanting to see you be having fun, being pleasured.
Yeah.
I was a bit like, I'll have to think about it. But we spoke about it a lot, didn't we, before we decided?
Yeah. And actually, I happened at around this time, must have been last March or April. Your podcast had been around for a little bit, but I found it around March, April last year, and I happened to be working away for a few days, so I was doing a lot of traveling, and I used that opportunity to start from episode 1 of the V2V podcast, and hearing Mr. N speak about his thoughts and feelings, and it was like hearing the same words in my mind, just coming through the speakers in the car. So that kind of solidified the fact that I wasn't weird. It's not strange. To some people it might be, but to people who are in the naughty hobby, it's very normal behavior. So that also gave me a lot of excitement and confidence that and the stories you guys were telling, certainly early on in that, about your sort of first footsteps into the naughty hobby, it was quite exciting, and I couldn't wait to get home and have that conversation with Kay and share snippets of the podcast, or episodes of the podcast that I thought really demonstrated how I was feeling in a clearer way, perhaps.
That's really interesting. So you almost use the podcast as a tool to communicate with each other, which is I think that's really nice.
Yeah, we did. And you did buy me the book as well to read, which I really enjoyed, and made it even more like, yes, we.
Yeah. So I'd already sort of seen it from both of your perspectives from listening to the podcast. Kate just doesn't have that free time. I work from home, so I'm able to just stick an episode or two on and listen to it while I'm working. So buying the book and her getting the perspective from Mrs. N's side as well, that sort of, is the two pieces of the puzzle that started to make Kay understand where I was coming from.
Definitely.
And her see it from Mrs. N's perspective. And it was almost like the tip of the iceberg, really, for us to start properly looking into it.
So Mrs. K, what initially sort of changed your mind to go from, oh no, this is absolute no, to, oh, actually, this sounds interesting? Was it just listening to the podcast, or was it sort of communicating? What was it that sort of changed your mind?
Definitely communicating with R a lot about it, because I enjoy sex. So I was like, should I be feeling that it is okay that I want to try this, even though I'm married? Like, I shouldn't really be feeling like that. But I was very curious, and I'm excited to try it. But it's definitely communicating with R a lot of how I felt as well. And as I said, reading your book definitely helped.
Do you think? And do you think sort of hearing, I mean, obviously we talk on the podcast as well about other couples, it's not just about ourselves. Do you think hearing that other couples have experienced it, and it suddenly makes it not weird, and not that it's just something that, your kink alone? Yeah,
no, definitely that. Like, we're not the only ones that are feeling this and thinking of this, and there is other people out there who, they make it work, they enjoy it. It isn't anything. We're not doing anything wrong. We're not hurting anyone. We're not. It is just normal.
You feel vindicated, don't you, when you hear, and it wasn't just your story. After episode 20, you'd had various guests on, and sometimes I'd listen to it for an hour and feel like, wow, that's exactly how I feel. Which is pretty cool, really.
Absolutely.
I love the fact that the one thing I love about is doing the podcast is listening to people's stories. It just, I will never get bored. And you'd be surprised how many people we've spoken to and said, I'd really like to get you on the podcast. And they say, I don't think I could bring anything different. And it's like, no, you don't understand. Everybody's story is different.
Yeah.
Even if you have like a similar dynamic or anything, everybody's journey is individual, isn't it? I have a personal question to ask Kay, if she doesn't mind.
No, that's fine.
As you met Mr. R when you were 17, had you had any sexual relationships prior to that?
I'd only sort of foreplay. That was it. I hadn't.
Okay. So because one of the questions I got asked by one of my work colleagues was knowing the difference between making love with somebody and just sex.
Yeah.
And since you've obviously been in the naughty hobby, do you see the difference? Have you experienced the difference?
Yes, definitely. There's no, like, me and R have a lot of closeness together. It's different sex because we love each other.
Yeah.
Whereas sex in the naughty hobby is just like, it feels good. It's not, it's naughty. It feels naughty. You shouldn't be doing it. So it's a different feeling of sex. But yeah, it's definitely different with R. It's
always lovely talking to people that sort of talking about their first time, because it always takes us back to our first time. And my biggest fear was always, how would I feel after I'd come? It was sort of pre-orgasm and post-orgasm, to the point on our first meet, as we've said before, I said to Mrs. N, I don't want to come during the meet. I'll do it afterwards, but I don't want to do it during the meet. Which, that rule actually got broken, and it was all right anyway.
Yeah. It's very unusual for you to come during the meet anyway, because you always like to save it for, when we have our sort of reclaim time. Yeah. Don't you?
Yeah. Did you have any particular fears when you were sort of thinking about your first sort of play with anyone else?
Yeah, I didn't know how R would react after, like, seeing me with, like, see another man touch me, or because obviously he had it in his head that he's going to enjoy it and it's something that he wanted to do, but the actual reality of seeing your wife being touched by another man, I was really worried how he would react afterwards. So I think the first few times I did tense up a bit. I think I wasn't as relaxed as I could have been, and enjoy it as much as I should have.
Was that a private meet, or was that actually at a club?
That was a private meet.
Okay. So similar to us then. You did the private meet first, which I always think is more pressure, I think, than a club now. But
we had a plan in mind, and I mean, there's going to be a theme running through this, really, that we go off piste all the time and just get carried away and don't follow the plan. But we had a plan, and the plan was to go to V2V. So, sorry, the plan was to join Fab, get chatting to people on your, in the V2V community, the likes of Megan and Hayden, we were chatting to them. Naughty Little Secret, we were chatting to them as well. And then the plan was, we won't do anything. We'll go to V2V in September, and in the meantime, we'll just chat to people. Well, we were so naive, because we created the profile, and overnight we had, I don't know, 50, 60 inbox messages, and then and Kay was thinking, oh, no one's going to be interested in me. And honestly, this is rule one, I think, for anyone joining Fab. Don't be this naive. We put face pics public straight away, which was a major fault of ours. And we had people that we knew. We live rurally, and so we had people that we knew, either friends of friends or whatever, and now they know. So that's definitely something that.
But then with that, then you also know that they're in there as well. So
yeah. But it was, can I come and play with you? And we know them, and they're not our cup of tea. Yeah. So having to reject someone that it adds a different layer of it, I guess.
And that's a hell of a lot to deal with. I mean, we've obviously had that as well, but at least ours was spread over a few years. It sounds like you had a lot to deal with, literally all in one go.
We set off a Fab Swinger grenade. Unfortunately, but
I'm sure there's lots of people listening are all nodding their heads, going, "Yeah, you did that."
So that was our plan. So we were going to go to V2V, and then we just got chatting to so many different people and interesting people and people that, we thought we could build a rapport with and would enhance our dynamic and all of this stuff. And in the beginning, it was, we're not going to play with anyone. And then we sort of we went for a social with someone, and then we came home and said, do we want to wait till V2V, or shall we dip our toe in and do a private meet? And that's what we did, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is a big decision to make. And you also have that fear, which is, I remember myself and Mr. N saying after our very first meet that we had, it was the most amazing experience and we lived off it for a very long time. But we both said the day after that could have gone horribly wrong. And that was one hell of a risk to take.
Mm.
And it is a bit of a leap of faith sometimes, isn't it? That you have to think, I just need to try it.
And there's only so much you can do when you're meeting someone on Fab. You can go for a social. You don't know if there's going to be chemistry. You don't know if, when the clothes are off, whether, it's, that rapport that you build outside the bedroom is going to transfer. But do you know what? That's half the fun of it, isn't it, really? It is. And in the beginning, we felt like it was going to be so I would be involved with each meet. It was going to be threesomes, and we did do that for the first few meets with a few different guys. But then when I did sit back and did the whole hot wife thing, I can't explain it, but I just felt like I got so much more out of it, and Kay wasn't really concentrating so much on, where are you okay, are you happy, and all this stuff, and I just let her be in the moment, and I wasn't not that they felt like I was getting in the way, but I just felt more comfortable doing.
I'm high-fiving you, Mr. R. virtual high-fiving you.
Can you explain to us, Mr. R, if you can? I know it's very, very difficult. What feelings were you getting watching Kay with somebody else?
So the first time she was very tense, and the guy even beckoned me over and said, sort of, let you sit this side of her, and let's both take care of her. But even at that point, before I got beckoned over,
that sounds like you picked the right guy for the first experience.
Yeah.
He was, obviously visually including you and literally beckoning you over. That's a really ideal for the first meet.
Yeah, he read Kay's body language perfectly, and he knew that she would be a lot more comfortable if it wasn't just him and her.
I take it wasn't his first rodeo then.
No, it wasn't his first rodeo. No, but it's strange. I didn't feel anything other than I thought I would feel, which is this feels right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
You think it's going to be the weirdest feeling in the world, but to us, it just felt really sort of not normal, but it just felt. I think I'd built it up more in my head. I mean, I still remember the scene for us like it was yesterday. And it was still one of the best meets we'd ever had, probably because it was our first experience. I think I'd built it up so much, the nerves were so much, that when it actually happened, I was more relaxed with it, I think, than Mrs. N.
Yeah, I think I was incredibly nervous. I was probably more on the same lines that Kay was, by the sounds of it. And it was like, I'm not sure how I'm going to feel somebody else touching me. It might feel wrong. It might feel weird. And then constantly looking at Mr. N the whole time, making sure that he's okay.
Biting your lip. It was biting your lip was a big tell, because I knew then that Mrs. N was enjoying it, but I also knew she kept looking. I knew she was then she was worried for me, which I was like, I'm cool, I'm fine with it, you know?
Yeah, I think for me, it was when the clothes were off and Kay was sucking the guy's dick, that I knew that. I was like, there's no way that she would do that if she wasn't 100% comfortable.
Yeah.
And also, from my perspective, I've been on the receiving end of that, so I knew how amazing that feels. So I was like, this is super hot now.
There's a little bit of disbelief. I remember on our very first meet, I missed the very first initial bit because we'd already pre-agreed with the guy that we could take some photos, because photos was like, I'm keeping this in my mental Rolodex, but I just want a memento of the occasion. And so I actually went out.
You disappeared
before you started and came back. So to walk in and suddenly be met with that image was like, that was mind-blowing for me. And that was, I can tell you, that was the very moment I'm going, oh yes, this is my kink, this is what I'm into.
Yeah Agreed.
So and for you, Kate, did you have the same thing as Mrs. N, that you were sort of, it's very difficult, isn't it, to be in the moment and enjoying it, but also as well worrying. It's such an alien feeling. So to look across at your partner and wonder what they're feeling and if they're really genuinely okay.
Yeah, no, I definitely felt like that. The first time we did Hot Wife, I think I constantly looked over and I kept mouthing, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
But then also I wanted to give my attention to the guy as well.
Only women can multitask. that's why it doesn't work so well the other way.
But yeah, I did check in a lot the first time and also tried to enjoy myself. And also, like I say, I was worried afterwards how he would react seeing me with another guy like that.
We always debrief.
Yeah,
that's something that
so
obviously communicate.
Something you didn't like, or you liked more of. I said, was this okay that I did this, or did you like this? And yeah, we spoke a lot like that afterwards, didn't we? Yeah,
and we're ones for taking a lot of videos and photos as well, and we always sit and go through them.
I felt very strange first time I did have sex with someone in front of our. It was just having sex with another guy in front of my husband. Yeah. The first time I did, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe we've just done that. Yeah. Like, what have we done?
I had a real issue in the beginning. It was just like, no, I can't look at myself.
Yeah.
It just felt really weird just watching myself on video with somebody else.
And in the beginning, I mean, obviously, you very kindly have sort of said that you use the podcast. For us, there was absolutely nothing. We didn't even know we were swingers.
No.
There was absolutely nothing there. So Mrs. N's concern was, she went, I'm not going to do this with lots of other guys. And she was convinced that we were only going to have one special friend.
Yeah.
You talk about being naive. How naive was I?
Where's the fun in that?
Needless to say, that rule went out the window.
How many different flavours of ice cream are there? And you want to stick with, strawberry for the rest of your life?
Yeah, no, that wasn't happening. It took me a while to taste those other flavours, but it was, it was definitely going to happen. But Kay, once you saw the reaction of Mr. R, did that kind of encourage you more? Because I know when I see how excited Mr. N gets, and sometimes he's physically shaking, he's that excited.
You didn't know that on the first meet, though, did you?
Not on the first meet, but obviously
till really we'd spoken and done the debrief. Was that the same for you?
Yeah, I think the more we did it and the more we spoke, and then when you said how much you enjoyed it, and even you loved watching the videos back, so that gave me more confidence as well, because I was quite body confidence wasn't great.
Yeah.
So and the guys we have met have all been absolutely lovely. We've been really lucky. They've made me feel really comfortable, because I wouldn't get completely naked either. I still keep a bit of lingerie on. But they've definitely helped me there. But yeah, seeing how much R gets turned on watching me definitely makes me enjoy it more as well, because I'm thinking, oh, he's really enjoying seeing my face like this or whatever. Or
and it's that whole thing. It's that special thing between the two of you that you're sharing together, which makes it so. I can't think of the word, but I think it bonds you even more because of it.
It's very intimate, isn't it?
Yeah,
because it's only you and your partner that know what you've done, and that's something you've shared. Once the other person's gone, it's just something between you two.
Yeah, in a strange way, I didn't think we could get any closer than what we already were. Because we've always been solid, we've had no issues, we've been really lucky in our relationship. But yeah, in starting this, I just love him even more, and we just got so much closer. It's like you say, it's like we have this special thing that no one else knows about.
Wow.
Apart from all your neighbours within a 10-mile radius. Who are on Fab.
Yeah.
Well, no, we've got big mouths, and we have. I don't know. It's fun, and it's a weird sense of pride that comes from it, because you feel like you're extra special. Because you're strong enough to be able to do that, and it's a gift that we're giving each other. And some we have been honest with some of our close friends and family about what we do more recently. Certainly not in the beginning. It was all very cloak and dagger in the beginning, but we feel
the people we've told we can definitely trust.
That's it.
So have they kind of received that news fairly well? Have they been very supportive?
It's been a mixed bag.
We've had a mixture, yes. Yeah, I think the majority definitely are very interested. They want to ask a lot of questions.
Yeah.
They're just very intrigued and happy for us, because they see us every day. They know how our relationship is. They know how good we are, and they understand. But we have had a few people question why, how could R let me do that, or sort of thing. They really don't understand the feeling.
I've got to ask you now, do you think that they kind of blame, is there any blame there where they kind of blame the thing, well, R can't be 100% happy with that, or do they kind of look at one of you as the lead to kind of, somebody must have corrupted somebody? That's usually the thing, isn't it?
I think they would probably feel like I was the one corrupting Kay, but then they find out that actually I'm not playing it to her, and then that probably scrambles their mind, because they're like, oh, but I can't see her corrupting him, so it's a little bit odd. Anyone who isn't so sure about it, they've just said, I don't really want to talk to you about it or know anything about it, and that's the end of the question. And we still socialize with them, and we just don't mention it. Those that are happy, and they're open enough that they do want to talk about it, they're the ones that are asking questions and want to know what we've been getting up to
or anything. It's always them asking us questions. We wouldn't just bring it up in a conversation. It's the other way around. But
so you say you've kind of been in the naughty hobby for 12 months?
Coming up 12 months. I think it was July. So yeah, it was our original plan to be behaved and then go to V2V. And that was sort of dip your toe in. We booked to stay on site. We had a couple of conversations with you guys because we were like nervous newbies. And then we attended V2V. And well, we dipped more than a toe in, didn't we? Because
you know what, though? And I don't know whether you know this, but it's really funny because obviously for people that don't know about V2V, it's predominantly for like newbies. So people who've never been to a club before, or people who've just, started out in the naughty hobby. And we like to hold your hand, and we like to make sure that you're looked after and that you have a really, really good night. But what happens is when you see the nervous newbie come in, and we're like, look, you're absolutely fine. We've got you. the night's whatever we want it to be. Don't push yourself into anything you're not comfortable with. But then when we find out, or we see that, you are enjoying yourselves, we get this like proud parent moment. And it's like, oh, bless.
Yeah, that's that, and you've created that. I mean, we were obviously talking to Naughty Little Secret before, and it was actually Elle from Naughty Little Secret who did our tour, so she was really lovely, and Saucy was amazing as well, and there was loads of newbies, like proper newbies like us that there was some that had and kept the intention of just going to the club and not doing anything prior, and we obviously we slipped up there, but we were happy to do so. But yeah, we got naked in the hot tub. We always had like a bucket list of stuff.
That's a big thing.
It is a big thing for people. And I always say, especially with the newbies, if you don't do anything else this evening, go and have a dip in the hot tub, because it's the most amazing feeling to be naked in a hot tub. Not everybody goes in naked, and that is absolutely fine. Personally, I love being naked in the hot tub. It's just such a lovely, free feeling, and it's so relaxing. And it's also a great place to meet people.
And that is why we are no longer a member of David Lloyd.
But yeah, I mean, we walked into the hot tub, and there was a guy getting sucked off, sat up on the edge. So it was a real baptism of fire. It was, you're not in David Lloyd now. You are very much in a club. And we met loads of people. We were out in the smoking area, really nice social area. Everyone was, wanted to talk and wanted to hear the stories and share theirs, and that was just fantastic. And then we got a bit fruity in the hot tub, but we knew we weren't allowed to get too fruity in there. So, and the only bed that was free, when you walk through the big double doors and there's that one just on your right near the showers.
Yes.
So you're like, anyone going in and out of that room can see what you're getting up to.
Oh, yes.
And Kay was like, we're going to go on that bed. And I was like, are you sure? and yeah, we went and had a lot of fun on that bed. Just Kay and me. That was sort of, we didn't, because there are no single guys, and our dynamic is. We knew that there wasn't going to be any. Well, not that there is anyway, but we knew that there was very, very slim chance that we would do anything with anyone else.
Yeah.
So we had some fun on that bed.
We always say to couples that have never been to the club, we always say that you don't have to swap to have the absolute best time. You can have an amazing time with just you as yourselves, without anybody else's input, so to speak. So overall, it was a positive experience as an event for you.
V2V was absolutely amazing, and it really solidified that this was for us, and these were our people. Just how friendly everyone was, and inviting everyone was, and what awesome hosts you were. And it was just and Libs.
Stop it!
I'm trying to get some brownie points, but just that Libs was a really special place. Mm-hmm. We're not in a part of the country that is blessed with clubs. No. And we knew from the book and from the podcast that years ago we wanted to go there. Yeah. And I think even when we started listening to the podcast and Kay read the book, you weren't doing your own events. So you were talking about other events, you were talking about DC and Dark Desires, and we knew that we wanted to go to Libs. We definitely wanted to go to Libs. So, and then you guys started doing your own events. So then it was like, right, now we really need to go to Libs, and we need to do a V2V.
Yeah.
I think it's actually fair to say now that Libs and V2V, there's almost a little bit of a shaping there, isn't there? In as much as Libs is quite an unusual club, because Chardonnay, who now owns the club, who was the manager at the time. So she's managed the club for quite a number of years. And that has shaped the way Libs is. And I almost equate that to Jacqueline Gold, is it?
The Ann Summers lady.
Who owned Ann Summers.
Okay, yeah.
So originally Ann Summers, back in the 80s, was this grubby little shop where dirty men in Max went to buy their pornographic magazines. But this is true. And this is Jacqueline Gold's own words. And she sort of, I think she went to a Tupperware party, believe it or not. She went to a Tupperware party and her friends were talking, and this lady was saying, I'd love to buy a sex toy. And Jacqueline Gold went, well, why don't you just go and buy one then? And she went, oh God, I'm not going into Ann Summers or anywhere. It's disgusting. Obviously, a long while later, Jacqueline Gold ended up buying Ann Summers, which was just a very small chain of shops losing a lot of money every month. They bought Ann Summers out, and her first board meeting was, we are going to change this, so this is a shop that ladies enjoy going into.
Yeah.
And the guys who obviously around the boardroom, one of them apparently threw down his pen and said, well, that's the end of us then, isn't it? Because everybody knows that women don't like sex. And that apparently is a true story of Jacqueline Gold and Ann Summers. And that kind of... I think it says a lot about that guy's sex life.
Yeah. Yeah. Should we ask the ladies in the room what
But secondly, as well, it shows such a change of attitude of back in that time. And I think Liberty Elite, I think it's truly revolutionary. We've been to many other clubs, and there's some great clubs out there. But I think with Chardonnay, as we call her, who is the owner of Liberty Elite now, she has shaped it in such a way that it is so unique. And she very kindly has said, with our V2V events, we've kind of worked so closely together. And I think it is an environment now that any woman would be comfortable to go into.
Yeah,
do you agree with that, Kay?
Yeah, I do, because I was so nervous going the first time, wasn't I? As soon as I walked in, I just felt at ease, like straight away with you guys, and
a hug from Mrs. N, and everything was fine.
Yes.
Yeah, I do. I'm sorry, whether you want one or not, you're getting one.
we boast about consent, but you just go in there. I just go in there.
It's everything though. We were talking about being out in that smoking area, and the ladies who were starting to dress down, even though at that time of night it was getting a bit chilly. I know it was September, but they're coming out and they're all just paying each other compliments and saying how sexy. Yeah, I've never seen, because it's not a club like a nightclub. Yeah, I've never seen Kay, say to another woman, "Oh my God, you look amazing." Mm. But it's something like being in Libs and being in the naughty hobby that just brings that side out of you, and straightening the crown and all of that stuff that you guys talk about. It's really, it was there for all to see, I guess it always is. It was our only V2V we've ever been to, unfortunately. We'd love to go to another one, but it was a great night, fantastic night.
I think how you describe, where you say you've never seen that before, where Kay said, you look sexy, or to another woman, you look great, you look fabulous. And I'm not ashamed to say that it has taught me to be a better person. Mm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because now I will say things to total strangers that I wouldn't have dreamt of saying.
You also found that there was an incident that happened, because we were at Kuriosity, which is one of the new events, and there were two ladies there that actually ended up wearing the same dress down outfit. Yeah. Which, funnily enough, one of the ladies said, when I chose it, I thought, I've never seen anybody in this before, so I should be okay with this. And if you were like out at a normal nightclub or whatever, and you saw somebody else in the same outfit, you'd probably a bit like, I'd probably look better in it than she does, or that kind of attitude. Both of them literally laughed, giggled, hugged each other, and then told each other how amazing they both looked in the same outfit.
They were celebrating the fact that they got, like, you've got great taste. Yeah. There was
celebrating. Wondered where you're going with grapes.
Well, they had those too, yeah.
I was going to say, I've got to admit, it was quite a sight. Quite a sight. But yeah, it is. You're so right. In as much as it is such a unique environment, and I suppose my next question that leads me on to, after you'd been there, do you think it changed you in any way in your day-to-day lives?
We just couldn't wait to go back, could we?
Also, you did say to me, like, you've seen a different confidence in me.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, compared to, I know obviously you guys didn't particularly play with anybody else on that night, but compared to your home meet and then the atmosphere of the club, how did it compare? Did you kind of feel, probably, I know you were really nervous going to the club, but because you'd had the private meet anyway, did that help? Do you think it made you a little bit more confident, or?
I think so. I think having the meet privately first definitely helped me feel a bit more confident. Walking into a room, knowing, everyone is there
for the same purpose.
Yeah. Definitely made me a bit more comfortable while we were there.
And everything that you achieved personally that night, having sex in the big room, us being naked in the hot tub, and just all the people that we had loads of great conversations with. You did have an air about you that you were sort of a lot more confident in yourself.
The conversations are some of is the best bit. You have some like crazy conversations with like just people you would never get to meet.
The weirdest thing is you can literally be standing there next to either one of the beds or something, having just almost like a normal conversation while somebody's actually having sex right next to you.
Yeah.
It was.
Or like you're just dressed in your dress down in your lingerie and you've got your bum out and you've got this out.
Yeah.
But you are just stood there having a normal conversation with people who are exactly the same. Like you just wouldn't imagine you'd ever witness or do something like that. But it just felt comfortable and we were at ease, weren't we? And it was just like, we really enjoyed it.
It just solidified, that this is a community that we definitely want to be a part of.
Mm-hmm. They are definitely a special bunch, aren't they?
It is. It's very rare, isn't it, to get such an eclectic mix. We have literally had a conversation with a High Court judge, gentleman who actually quite openly just boasted it, and then in the next sort of few moments we were talking to a footballer, and it was like just insane. And it's like, where would you get this eclectic mix of people that just mingle together, and they've all got there's no hierarchy there.
It doesn't matter if you're in a high powered job or if you're doing something or working from home and you don't necessarily see a lot of people. It makes no difference because nobody actually...
you're all equal. You're all equal when you walk through the door, and you're all there, to have a good time. We couldn't wait to go back, and because you guys had spoke so highly of Dark Desires, we literally booked the October Dark Desires after coming to September Fee to Be. We were like, we need to go back.
And did you go to Dark Desires?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a very fun evening at Dark Desires.
That's a very different experience.
It's an incredibly different experience, isn't it?
It was amazing. It was epic, and I do genuinely think that sort of catapulted us. We were on a sort of an upward trajectory, but after Dark Desires, everything sort of has gone 100 miles an hour since then. It was like something was awoken inside us. And
everything awakes and goes in after Dark Desires.
So, Kay, I want to know now. You've been in the naughty hobby a little while. Have you learned a lot about yourself? Have you found things that you really enjoy that you didn't realise that you really enjoyed?
That's a tough one, actually. I think I've definitely become more confident in like enjoying sex more and just you know, because I'd be very conscious to begin with. But now I definitely feel like I don't know how to word it.
Well, you're more vocal, aren't you?
Yeah.
A lot more vocal.
And, you know, if something feels good, I'm more saying, oh, yeah, that feels good. Or if there's something I'd like to try, I feel like I'm more confident in asking them, do you mind if we try this position? Or do you mind if, you know...
Can you imagine doing that before?
No, definitely not. No.
And have you discovered any new kinks about yourself?
I've tried a little bit of paddles and leg spreader. I tried a leg spreader. That was interesting. So yeah, we've but not a lot. I think it's
yeah. At the start of this year, we met someone who said who we chatted to for ages, and he's a great guy. He's almost become sort of a regular. Certainly, the start of this year, we've seen him more than anyone else, and he said to us quite early on, "I've got a bag of tricks that I can bring if you want," and that was a little daunting in the beginning because we hadn't really gone down the BDSM route before. But then the second meet we had with him, he brought his bag of tricks and he took the lead. And you enjoyed the sensation play, didn't you?
Sensation play is awesome.
It is.
Now here's a question for Mr. R. Did you enjoy watching somebody else do sensation play on K?
Yeah, and oddly enough, I don't know about you, but I actually don't have that kink myself. So as much as I enjoyed seeing her doing it, or them doing it together, I haven't been like, right, we need to buy all of this equipment and do it at home. I feel like that's just a part of the naughty hobbies side of things. Yeah. It stays with the hot wife.
We obviously went to Embargo when we were exploring the kink for the show, and we were so lucky we got to go to Embargo.
Yeah,
and Mrs. N went up on the big cross in the middle of this big dungeon, which is obviously the dance floor of Liberty Elite, and the whole dance area becomes this huge dungeon. And then they started doing the sort of sensation play, and it wasn't me doing it. It was me sitting watching, and I was kind of put on this little stool and made to watch, and it just blew my mind. It was just saying, but I think before we'd done a little bit of sensation play, but I got nowhere near the amount of fulfillment or gratification than watching someone else do it. It was for me with that hot wife kink, which I've learned, I've definitely got a hot wife kink. For me, watching somebody else do it was like it was just mind blowing.
It was mind blowing having it done.
Yeah, I enjoyed the noises and the moans and the groans that were coming out of Kay. But yeah, it wasn't. I'm exactly the same as you, Mr. N. It wasn't like, right, I need to try that. I feel like that's just a slice of the cake on the hot wife side of things, and this particular guy. So yeah, Mr. S. We met him in January the first time.
Yeah.
You'd been speaking to him for maybe a month on Fab.
Yeah.
And then now it's on Telegram. We chat there, and we've got a three-way group chat as well as Kay and Mr. S. But he was really keen. Took a real shine to Kay, and he travels like 2.5 hours to come, and we meet mainly in hotels. We've had to open a business account with Premier Inn because we're booking that. But yeah, no, he helped in the private meets that we did. There was just maybe something missing.
Yeah, but after each time when we spoke, like we had a good time, but then we didn't feel like there was. We felt like there could be more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that didn't help with your guilt.
No.
Either. So you would get the guilt because you felt like you weren't enjoying it as much as you should be.
Yeah.
And I've not allowed you to do this, but that's sort of how you felt about it. So when you were coming away from a meet not feeling like 100% fulfilled, it was playing on the guilt. I don't know if you experienced that as well, Mr. Zen.
You've had guilt a couple of times, haven't you?
Yeah.
In the beginning, I remember you sort of saying that, almost questioning how I could possibly get as much fulfillment out of it because I wasn't physically having sex during the time of the meet.
Yeah. If
there was three of us. So I do remember you having guilt. Do you remember?
I've carried guilt for a long time. In different ways. I totally get where Kay's coming from, because you do, in the early days, you still have that internal battle with yourself that I probably shouldn't be enjoying this, but I am enjoying this, but maybe I'm not enjoying it as much as I should be for, Mr. N to get the enjoyment out of it. And then as time went on, I then carried the whole guilt that I was the one having all the fun and he wasn't, even though he kept telling me, but I am, and this is what I enjoy. But it didn't matter how many times he told me, I would still feel guilty.
Very true.
Yeah, I definitely felt that in the beginning, because like I say, I was getting all the fun and I wasn't, but he was in his own way.
Yeah.
But I've definitely I haven't felt like that for a while.
Yeah, certainly since we've met Mr. S.
I was just about to say, so what is the difference between the meets you have with Mr. S compared to the ones that you had before, that now obviously makes you feel as if you're getting
I don't know.
more
I think
out of
I just felt like really, really comfortable with him. He's like really put me at ease, and like we talk as all three of us. Like he involves R as well, because some blokes, when you get a message of Fab, it's, oh, can't wait to meet you, and I'm like, well, it's us actually. Like there's two, and they don't really ask any questions about R or anything like that. Whereas Mr. S always has and is always involved.
And I think from my perspective, the difference is that he listens to her vocal cues, he reads her body, he asks, does this feel good? Do you like, he's he understands what it is. Well, I'm not going to make it for everyone, but
you're almost putting, and you're putting your trust in someone, and so when you can see that there's respect there, visual, sort of signs, visual tells of respect, that's an incredible thing, because then you could, as a husband of a hot wife, then you can relax more, and you can almost just play your part of just watching and enjoying it. Because you can relax. That your wife is in good hands, so to speak. I definitely I know exactly how you feel, because we had a friend who we've written in the book.
Yes.
Where we met many times, and as you were describing it, I knew exactly how you were feeling.
100%. And I also feel like the timing of us meeting him is perfect, because all those sort of newbie nerves have dissipated. He is quite experienced, so he's not only has he done quite a lot with couples and single ladies, but he also has ideas of scenarios and things that we could play out. And we're also, we will try anything, to an extent, but we're, if he suggests something, I don't think he's ever suggested anything that we've been like, oh no, we're not going to do that. More recently, we've been doing hotel meets, and I've actually been coming away and leaving Kay to play solo. But the hotel's maybe half an hour away, so I've dialed in to Kay on her phone. She's answered it on her watch, and I've drove home really, really slowly, by the way, never driven home so slowly. But I can hear what's going on in the room on my journey home through the speakers in the car on the Bluetooth.
That is mind blowing. That is mind blowing just for me.
It is so cool. It's absolute, because you can't see.
You haven't done the thing that Mr. N did that time when because we were the same. We used to meet at a hotel with our regular guy, and Mr. N's always had this thing about walking in on me. It's one of his big turn-ons. So what we did, we all went to the room. We gave Mr. N the door key. He then left for a bit while we kind of got on with it. And then he was due to come back and literally walk in on us. Unfortunately, he couldn't get the door key to work, and all we could hear was him rattling the door like mad, trying to get in. It was the most hilarious thing ever.
Because I took the door card as well. I think you lost all power in the room, didn't you?
Yes. It's just like...
The power automatically goes off in the hotel room. So don't do that, because you'll be a twat like me.
So yeah, talk about killing the moment. It was like we all had to stop to go and open the door just to let him in. It was just, it was hilarious.
I was walking up to the hotel room. I could hear what was going on through the other side of the door. And there was a couple of people walking. I'm like, I can't open the door just as they go past. Oh, shit. This has gone really bad for me.
Did you find, though, because you were seeing the same guy on a regular basis, that you got excited because you kind of know what you were expecting? Did it make it more exciting in a way?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And we've kept it really...
Like every meet we've had with him has been different somehow.
Yeah.
So just to give you a few examples, we did interconnecting rooms in the hotel. So I did what Mr. N wanted to do, but I just walked from one room into the other, which was really hot. He's had a sleepover at our house.
Wow.
So we set a blow up bed downstairs in the living room for him. He came quite late, I think maybe 9 o'clock in the evening or something. He turned up. We had a catch up and a social, because we always do that. That's one thing, it's never a transaction. It's never coming, take your clothes off.
Yeah.
It's never like that. It's always, we'll have a good catch up and maybe probably for an hour. And then Kay and him went live on Fab cams from our bedroom, and the room on Fab cams, and we'd never done anything like that before. It was his suggestion, and we were like, okay, probably not going to get anyone viewing, probably not going to get anyone commenting. Well, the room was full, and the comments were wild. So that was quite cool. But then after that, off cam, Kay and Mr. S played it again in our bedroom, and then we just ordered some takeout and came downstairs and chatted and watched some TV, and then he got into bed, and then I think he invited you into bed. So we were all in the living room, and it was very, very hot. The videos that I got are incredible, to be fair. How did it feel like
the morning after? Because we've always had this thing that the fantasy of it is really hot, and we have fantasized about somebody staying over and me being woken up in the middle of the night, having sex with the guy, and and then Mr. N sort of waking up and seeing it happening. But then the reality is, I'm not sure how I'd feel about having somebody there the following morning.
What time did you go down in the morning?
I woke up about 8, and I just went down on my own and snuck into bed with him and woke him up. And so then I could then hear everything that was going on upstairs, what we were doing downstairs. And then I think we all just then had a shower. We had some breakfast and a cup of tea, and it was just normal. It felt really comfortable.
I think it depends on who it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, the things that we've done, we probably wouldn't have. Well, I'm pretty sure we wouldn't have done them with any of the other single guys we've met.
Yeah.
But we just feel so comfortable with him.
Yeah. And he does with us as well.
It's a big thing for him to come and stay at our house as well. It's not just about how it is for us.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a given that he was going to agree to that. But he did. And he, afterwards, he said, I feel really comfortable in your home. Thank you so much for welcoming me and looking after me and feeding me and all of this stuff. And, he said it was one of his favorite meets that he's ever had. And we will definitely do that again, because that was very cool.
It sounds really hot, actually. Hearing you actually describe it, I'm sitting there going, oh, actually, you know what? Yeah. That sounds really good.
That is really, really cool.
Yeah.
To find somebody you really click with, who you've got that friendship with, is so special. To anyone that doesn't understand, to find somebody that within the lifestyle that you really, really click with.
Yeah.
It just makes it amazing. It makes it so special.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are really fortunate to have met him. And we wouldn't have met him if it wasn't for this. You know, our paths never would have crossed.
Yeah.
Have you thought about taking him to a club?
He wants to come.
Yeah,
he's been to Libs before, and he's been to a Dark Desires or two before.
Yeah.
We just can't at the moment make the calendars work.
Yeah.
We were going to go to Sheer Indulgence
Greedy Girls
next Friday, but we just couldn't make the dates work, unfortunately, because Kate got work the following day.
We would love to see you all at a Vegas Vixens.
Yes.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, we definitely need to do that.
Yeah, it would be fun.
Thank you so much. We're aware of the time, and thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your story and being so kind as well about Vita V. And the podcast and the book and everything, to actually see sort of couples like yourself, it makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah, it does. It's one of those things when we had no idea when we did the book or when we started the podcast what sort of journey it was going to take us on, and the only thing I ever had in mind was that I wanted people to see it, the Naughty Hobby, for what it really was, what an amazing lifestyle it is for people, and the most amazing people that you meet. And I wanted to share that with people. And so when you actually get to see somebody that has listened and it all makes sense and you understand it, and we've been there to help, it makes my day, because that's all I've ever wanted.
You're definitely dispelling the myths.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's great. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
And I hope that we can get you back on and carry on sharing your journey, guys, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%. Thank you so much for coming on. And we shall hopefully see you soon at an event when it'd be wonderful to meet Mr. S as well.
I know, and I know you guys are on the V2V Discord group as well, so please keep in touch, send us messages, because we love to hear from you.
Absolutely, 100%. Great stuff, guys. Thank you so much.
Take care.
See ya.
Take care.
Cheers, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.